Okay, so I see people joining in, so I think we'll start now. So let me just share my screen and let me know if it's visible to everyone.
Yes, I can see, Prashant.
Okay, great. All right. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Prashant Gandhi, and I'm a Pardot certified consultant, and I'm also the 2020 Sales for Marketing Cloud champion for this year. And I lead the Delhi B2B marketers group. You can reach me out on Twitter or via LinkedIn. And this is our group, the Delhi Pardot group, and you can always connect us on this particular link on the Trailblazer community. Or if you have any queries, you can also reach out to us over Twitter as well. And now I would like to welcome our speakers, Karthik and Hemant. They both are working at Persistent Systems, and they are our speakers for this particular series of Deep Dive with Pardot. And yes, thank you to our sponsors as well, Persistent Systems. And now it's over to you, Karthik and Hemant.
Thank you, Prashant. Thanks for introducing us. Hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Thanks for confirming. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, let's start. So, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining today's session and spending time to us attending this series. And we are from Persistent, and this is a Delhi group using Twitter handler and Pardot Champs at Twitter handler. Do tag or do follow these handlers where you can find the latest updates. And today we are into session 3, where, and as this is a housekeeping rule, be muted, and there will be a question and answer. There is a chat window where you put on your questions there, where we'll be discussing and addressing those questions at the end of the session. And we also have a small quiz at the end of this total session, and to participate in this quiz. So what is today's agenda? So we'll do a quick recap of this last previous session, what we covered and what we are went into a topic wise. And what is again today's agenda is like about user roles and groups, list management, email domain management, and email marketing. So we will cover these topics today, and we'll do a quick recap of the previous session. Okay. So a quick recap. Let me do one thing. I need to share another screen. One minute, I'm sharing my deck. One minute. Okay, hope you can see my screen. So yesterday we have started with the topic of sync behavior and the sync between the two platforms. So this was a standard flow where this is a process where the information will be passed from one platform to another platform. Okay, so as I said earlier, a Salesforce has this many set of objects, and Pardot has only a prospect object. Assumption is like if you want to sync a records from lead, contact, it's a bidirectional, and also a campaign is a bidirectional. Customer object, account, opportunities are in one-way direction. If I want to get update information of opportunity, then that sync behavior happens from opportunity to contact and contact to prospect. That's what we discussed yesterday. And also it's a bidirectional, and these are the touch points to interact to get the opportunity information, account information, and campaign and customer object. These were some of the standard flow where it is follow and sync will happen. On top of this sync, there should be a triggering point, how this sync behavior works. The triggering points, or otherwise, let's see how the sync logic works. First, see what is the sync logic and how it works. As I said yesterday, the sync logic is based upon first checkpoint is a CRM ID, where if the CRM ID is available for a particular prospect, that's basis that CRM ID, it will sync the lead or contact. That is the first entry point. And the second check is, if let's example, the prospect doesn't have a CRM ID, then it will come to the next step, which is called as contact record. The contact record checks the email ID. It cross-checks the email ID with the base of contact. If contacts find that email ID which was entered or available in the system, that email ID will be tagged, find the contact, and that will be synced with the contact record between the Powdot and the Salesforce. The next, let's example, there's no email ID of contact, then it can goes to lead and it will verify and it will update the lead record. And here, the next point is, let's example, this prospect doesn't had assigned to anyone, any of the user in the system, then it will stays in Powdot only, and then it won't sync into the Salesforce until you update that prospect with certain user, assign a user to the prospect, then only that prospect will sync on the Salesforce platform. Okay, these are the considerations while the syncing behavior come in picture. As the same, this is again the same understanding a context and what exactly the sync trigger comes. There are two things, two contexts which will be considered. The sync can happen at 2 minutes. It's like 2 to 6 minutes that sync behavior applies, and the activities, what can be done based on that activities, this sync behavior will be initiated. The first point is a prospect activities and user actions and system actions. If I take an example for system actions, the system actions will be kind of a completion action, or we can say engagement studio or engagement program. Those are called as system actions. Based on system actions, whatever the actions updated behavior happens, that information will be triggered and sync to the Salesforce. And user actions and users enable, users edit, users permissions, and all this will be and triggering point again. Prospects activities, if we change some prospect information, those like that will be again a sync behavior. And the user action example, if the user action does the import of prospect, a change of prospect fields, a manual change in prospect, change in user settings. Likewise, those are the triggering points in the Powdot context. If you see the Salesforce context, in Salesforce context, if you modify a lead or a contact assigned user, then the owner, let's example, lead or contact assigned user as owner change, owner update has done, then again triggers a sync behavior. Lead or contact field change, a lead or a contact is changed, then again a triggering point for sync behavior. And creating a new lead on contact, if you have created any lead or a contact on the system, again it's initiated triggering point between the systems. And this functionality only applies or come in picture until there is a connectors established between the two. So must have a connector settings enabled so that the behavior applies and works. So we also seen what is the connector setup. So as there is a package available where you can install that package. After installing a package, add a Salesforce connector in Powdot. There is a provision where you need to click on add connectors, and clicking of add connectors, the Salesforce connectors will be added. And also you need to configure both in Salesforce and also Powdot.org. Then these settings are done, then the established will be done between the Salesforce. And also seen these are the steps when you install the package. The very first step is like you need to give an install admin only, and for one Powdot.org only one CRM connector is enabled at one time. Okay, install a admin only permission when you install a package. And also we've seen that sorry, it's a permission set supposed to be given, that is again. And this is where you can see once the connector is established under this heading. Once the connector is established, you can see Powdot information, the set of fields available here on Powdot on Salesforce Lightning lead detail record. There is a layout where you can edit and you can add this section and fields that can be visible, where you can see directly here the Powdot prospect information. Okay. You can see the buttons, you can see the components, you can see the related list. All this information will be seen once the connector is successfully established. And also we have seen different types of connectors available, a CRM, event, or other social media, social posting, video, and webinar. These are available connectors. Let's you just need to click on add connector, you choose any Twitter and just verify that. Then it is established. When it is verified, this will be done. So as I said, these are social connectors, and we'll come to this today's session, session 3. So we are done with a quick recap and today's session. Let me go to this today's agenda. So we'll start with about user roles and groups, list management, and we'll come back to this email domain management and email marketing. We'll come to these topics later, finishing these 2 topics. So Hemant, can you please take over this?
Sure, Karthik. Thank you so much. So please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So today we will start and we will discuss user role, security limit, folder permission. So basically user role, when you want to control level of access in the per dot, we will assign a role to a user. So there are 4 default user roles. One is administrator, marketing, sales manager, sales rep, sales user. So first role is the administrator. If you want to give a full access to user, you can assign them a administrator role. So it means he can edit, he can view, he can delete all marketing assets, prospect, visitor, reports, and all admin related setting also he can do if he has an admin role or administrator role. Second role is marketing. So in the marketing role, if you are giving to any user, it means he can work in these 3 tabs: marketing, prospect, reports. He can edit, he can view, he can delete. But when it comes to admin part, he has a limited access. It means he can only import, he can see recycle bin, he can view only users and groups, and he will not have a folder permission. So it means he cannot export also. Other related admin setting also he cannot do. So third role is sales manager. So sales manager, all visitor and prospect he can view. He can send only one-to-one email. He can view the reports, his reports and other user reports also he can view. But all the marketing assets he cannot view. Automation rules, all the engagement rules, whatever email form, anything he cannot view. Only prospect and reports he can view. Even all the admin related setting also he can not view or edit. Last role is default role is sales. So sales means only person he can view, he can edit his own prospect, or he can see of the report and life cycle of the his own prospect. So this is the 4 standard role we have. Now suppose that we can see the where is the role. We have to go in admin, user management, and we can see here roles. See, this is the roles. So I have a 4 default roles. I have assigned admin role to 3 users. You can check it here. But what will happen? Suppose that you have a company. There are 4 zones like North Zone, East Zone, West Zone, South Zone. Now you want North Zone user should be able to view the South Zone user marketing asset, but he should not able to edit. Also, he should view or he can edit the South Zone prospect also, and East Zone prospect also he can edit. So suppose that on the basis of your requirement you want to design role, you can also do with the help of the custom role. So here you have to click, and there are, you can give whatever role you want, name you can give. Suppose that I want to give custom role, whatever role you want you can give. And here are the 3 tabs are available: marketing, prospect, admin. So according to your requirement, if you want to give the full access of the marketing, then you can give. Otherwise you can just view access you can give. In the prospect side also, if you want, he should able to edit, delete, and each and everything, all full access you can provide. So as per your requirement, you can give the level of access to the role, and then that role you can assign to the user. So let's see, this is the one test user role I have designed. It's a custom role. I have created already. So I have given level of access also. See, I am not giving any access, just few access. I'm giving few, like he can view the form, he can create, edit the form handler, just few access I'm giving. As per my requirement, this much access is enough for me. So I have given, so role name is test user role. Okay. Now the second part is user. So user you can create manually, and you can import user also. You can maximum import 50 users. You can sync also with the Salesforce user. Let's see. So we have to go in admin and user management and users. Okay. So you can add users, right? First name, suppose that I'm giving them Harry Jobs. And this is not the mandatory field. So suppose that this is the mandatory field. This kind of name I can give them. Okay, so now time zone is a mandatory field which you have to select as per your time zone, and the syncing behavior of the with the CRM user. So these all are the CRM user which I have created in the Salesforce. So if you can sync with the, suppose that I want to sync with this integration or any like this user, Salesforce integration user, any user. Okay, so what would be advantage to syncing per dot user and the Salesforce user is you don't need to maintain two user. Also all the sharing part, all the security part, and each and everything will be handled by the Salesforce user itself. So you don't need to track two user. The second advantage is, suppose that you want to create a custom report. So in the Pardot, we cannot create a custom report. So if you will sync it with the Salesforce user, you can easily create the custom report in the Salesforce site. So this is the advantage. Now the roles. So you can, as per your requirement, you can assign the role also them, test user role, whatever you want. Now the security limits, you want how many imports he can do in a day. Prospect import, you can assign as per your requirement, 500. You can limit them. How many export he can do, suppose that export only 100. How many list email he can send them, I can say it's 1,000 emails he can send them. There are few options, there are few checkboxes are available. You want send daily prospect activity emails. So this user has a, suppose that 5 prospect assigned. What activities performed by these users, we can get this user can active, they can he can enable that setting, select the checkbox, then he will get the all activity emails also. Send an email when prospect is assigned to him, so he will get notified. Send daily prospect assignment email, send daily visitor activity email. So these all option as per your requirement, you can select them and you can use them. So third point is user group. So user group means is a collection of the user. So there are two way we can use the user group. First is a round robin lead assignment. It means equal distribution of the prospect. Suppose that you have a 1,000 prospect in your org now, and you have only 5 users in your org. You want equal distribution of the 1,000 prospect. It means every user should have 200 prospect. So what you have to do, you can go here in the user management, you can go in the group, you can create just simple one group as I created. See, North user group, first group, just you can enter the name and you can create it, and you can go in the prospect list, and so all prospect we have it, we can just directly assign to that particular group, assign to the group. You can select the group, whatever group you have. I have a North user group, so I can assign them. So now suppose that it's 1,000 prospects and I have a 5 users in this group, then it would be an equal distribution of the all prospect. So we call it round robin lead assignment group, right? The second process, second use of the group is folder. Suppose that I have some data, some marketing asset, some files in this folder, any folder, and I want to give this access to the 50 users. Now you can just do one thing, you can add these all users in the one group, and you can assign this permission to that particular group. See, if I can just assign it, save it, it will be assigned to that particular group. So now all the 50 users, all the 3 users which you can see in here, they will able to access the particular this folder. Now the next topic is list management. So list management, list is basically collection of the prospect. So what is the use of the list for the sending email, list emails, and in the engagement studio also we use it. So there are two types of the list basically. One is static and one is dynamic. So what is a static list? Suppose that uh, uh, Metasoft is a company. It has almost 15,000 employee in the India. So HR need a list that of the all prospect and their email address so that they can reach them. Like suppose that they want to give some information about the new festival or any holiday announcement, any annual revenue, whatever detail they want to announce to all employees, they want some list and they can send them email. So we can create that kind of list in Pardot. We can simply go in marketing tab, segment and list. So here you can add list. It would be a static list. So Metasoft, right? Employee list, something like that. You can type it here. And you can create this. I will discuss this all function, just 1 minute. So I can assign this list in this folder and you can create the list, right? Now, how to assign that? So this list exists, that is why it is not saving. Okay, now it is saved. So how you can assign the prospect to the list? You can go in prospect list and you can select the all prospect, whatever you have, and you can add to the list. There's an option to add them. And which list you want? Suppose that I want to assign to this list, you can go and this all prospect will be added in this list. But the problem is this is a static list. Suppose that in a day 50 more employee join the new company Metasoft, or maybe in the next day 100 employees left the company. So this list will be not automatically updated. If we have a strength 15,000 people, then we need like at least so many people to manage this list. So can we make it dynamic? Is it possible? Yes, we can do it. So there are two types of the list. We can see static list and then dynamic list. In the static list, we have three types: email test list, CRM visible list, public list. In the dynamic list, we have two types of list: dynamic and public list. So let's see what is an email test list, right? So email test list means suppose that Metasoft is going to launch new product, okay, and they want to reach their employees. So what email content should be there? They want to inform them we have this new product in the next month, okay. So what should be the best way to reach their prospect so that the email hitting ratio or email opening ratio will be more as compared to normal email? So what kind of content should be there? What would be the UI? Okay, what would be the subject line? They want to put like a person name also in the subject line or account number of the person in the subject line, yes or no? So if you want to test this part, then you should go with the email test list. How to create that test list? So we have to go that marketing, segment, again list. So if you will give that, you can give the name, which folder you can save it. If you will select this part, so maximum 100 prospect you can add in this list. The second thing is that this all prospect will be internal testing purpose prospect. They will open that email. Based on the email opening the ratio, you can select the content of the email. So basically you can say that this email test list we use for the testing purpose. We want to check our email content, then we use the email test list. The second list is public list. So let's see what is the public list. So public list, suppose that we have a like Champ, our Champ is our channel in the YouTube. So it always shows us click on the bell icon to get a notification of the next video or next session. In the same way, when suppose that you just get a one MI phone is there, you just got one email from the MI, like we have a new phone launch. So get any information regarding this phone in the future, you can subscribe that. So that subscribe link will be there. You can easily manage your own membership by clicking on that subscribe link. So this public list will help you to subscribe yourself. Here would be two things: one, label and description. So that label and description will be shown on that particular link. So let's see in the PPT. So public list is what? Display this list in the default email page, email preference page. Label and description are visible to the prospect on the email preference page. Email preference page allow prospect to directly manage their list subscription. It means a prospect can subscribe by himself. He can manage his own membership. Available to display it in the custom email preference page. Okay, so this is the second type of list. First we've seen like public list and test email list, and third one is the CRM list. So CRM visible list. So CRM visible list means we can again go here for CRM visible list. We have to just select this checkbox. Once you will select this list will be active. So for this list, suppose that a scenario is there. Suppose that one sales rep is working in the Salesforce site. He does not have a good idea of the Pardot, but he wants to access some list or some list of the prospect in the Salesforce site. So when you want to make available any list, Pardot list in the Salesforce site, then you should select this checkbox. This list will be available in the CRM visible. And also you can say that you prospect list you are sharing in the Salesforce site. So how to just give me 1 minute so I can, how to do that? Just this is the CRM list. See, I have created CRM list, or you can create right away. So let's say this is this internal test list. This is the CRM list. I have it. Okay. So when you will go it in the Salesforce site, you have to add first this list in the lead page layout. Once you add it, it will show like this. It's a Visualforce page. So it will show prospect list. So you can see that there are two lists, internal test list and select list and SFDC visible list. So you can select any list, whatever you want to add this record, lead record, you can select that particular list and you can save that part. So that Pardot list will be visible in the Salesforce side also. Even they can manage their membership also. So this is the third list we have seen. Now let's see the dynamic list. So we have seen the example. HR asks for the all company employees list, but what will happen if one day 50 users, 50 employees have the resign from the company, or second day 100 people or 100 employees join the company. So that list should be a dynamic. So let's say Microsoft dynamic list. Okay, I can save in the same folder list, right? So dynamic list will be only public list, as we have seen there in the first slide. Dynamic list can be only public list. It can't be a CRM visible list. It can't be email test list. So please remember this part. Okay, so I'm creating a dynamic list. So you can set rule also here. You can match any or match all rule. It is a defining criteria. Okay, so I'm just defining match all. So I want prospect custom field, employee status can be a working or left. I want only working people in this list. If I will save this, then it will give me the list of the person who is still employee of the company. Suppose that tomorrow one person left the company and status will be left, then this will not take in this list. So this is the dynamic list. So we have multiple dynamic lists also here. See, this is the dynamic list. So I have a 161 prospect here. Okay, and I have a criteria for that. So I have a prospect custom field list does not contain CRM. Okay, so I have taken all the prospect where their current solution is not CRM. So I have this 161 prospect, and we can split also this list if you want to split. So when you will split it, it will be a two static list. It will be both list will be not dynamic list. I want to take 30 and 70 ratio. Suppose that we can take it. Once you will split, there will be two lists of that particular list. Both will be static list, and you can, as per your requirement, you can send the email. So let's come to the point. We have seen list. We have seen the dynamic list of the prospect used during the email testing to allow internal recipient, or you can use this list in the engagement program also, right? The second is criteria based list. It's a dynamic list. Prospect dynamically will update. There would be a criteria to match the prospect. You can't add or remove it manually. So this list will be not update manually. Only based on the criteria it will be updated. Third, we have seen the public list. So when a user want to maintain their membership in the list by their self, they want to subscribe by their self, they should go for the public list. So dynamic display this list in the default email preference page. We have seen this part already. CRM visible list. So lists that are available in the Salesforce for the viewing and managing list membership, we call it CRM visible list. Enables Salesforce user to add and remove prospect from the specified list for the email nurture program and purpose without leaving the Salesforce. So if sales rep does not have that much idea about product, they don't want to leave the Salesforce, then they can use for the CRM visible list. Now, the recipient list and separation list and reporting. So recipient list, how many people you want to send email? They all are recipient. Separation, you don't want to send them email, you can tag in the static list or in the dynamic list. That would be called as a separation list. Now next is, we will see the difference between static list and dynamic list. So use the recipient and separation list. Both lists we can use as a recipient list and separation list. Using the list email and engagement program, both lists we can use in the static list and dynamic list in the engagement program and list emails also. So list emails is what Karthik will discuss in few minutes. Use for the general segmentation. Both lists you can use for the general segmentation. And change membership manually in the Pardot or CRM. So remember this thing, we cannot change membership manually of the dynamic list. Only static list can be updated manually. Change membership by automation tool. Yes, we can do with the static list only. So this point you have to remember. We will see in future upcoming session demo of this on this part. Add and remove membership automatically based on the criteria. Yes, we can do with the dynamic list. Public list to display on the email preference page. Both lists we can display on the email preference page. So Karthik, I think I am done. Now you can continue.
Yeah, Hemant, thank you. So I will take over the next topic. Let me share my screen. Okay. So till now we have seen the types of list, what is the list importance, how can the list can be updated, how that list can be dynamically works, and different business use cases where the list coming picture. Now we'll cover, once the list is ready, then you need to send in emails, and how you can send an email, what is the email you'll be doing. As a marketer, he needs to design an email, he needs to form a separate good email template, then only he can approach or send an email to the people. So for that, first we need to configure a domain. A domain supposed to be enabled in your pod.org, so that from that domain, that emails will be triggered to the respective users, end users. So we'll see what is email domain. So email domain is a domain configurations where you need to do in your pod.org, where it involves the DNS check and verification, different types of policies to be verified. Then only this email domain will be done. So email domain, its example, Linux, persistent.com or some other company's name, you can configure it, and that domain makes you attached when sending in emails. That is about a domain system sending email domains. So this here you can reach to these settings by this path in an application, a Pardot application, which is admin domain management, and Lightning app, which is Pardot settings and domain management. You can see this is a futures. You can see the list of domains here, and also can see check the domain entries and all this. These are the behavior available in domain configurations. And once the domain is done, added, and you need to verify, authenticate it. There are two types of authentication, which is SPF and domain key. So those are the two types of authentications available and verified, and then will be routed to a Pardot server, and from that Pardot server, this email will be shoot out. So as I show you on this link, domain management. If I go to admin and go to the domain management, you can see this. For now, since it is a demo org, as a temp org, I can't do any of this verification. Otherwise, it will show you as SPF verified. And these are authentications, verified or not verified, and then domain verification policies, all this done. Then it is done, or you're good. Then you can use that domain for sending an email. Okay. Now, this is again, there is some resources available where you can go through it and get understand about this authentication types and all. Now I'll come to the email marketing. And email marketing, and again, important concept in our Pardot journey. As an email marketing, the marketer user should build an good email template or email thing which he needs to send or attract to the users. For that, Pardot makes marketers' life easy by giving an out-of-the-box functionalities and without any complexities. And in a simple manner, he can design it, he can test it, and he can build it, and he can send it. That he can easily do it. So there's no much complexity over there for marketers. He can do or build it, or admin he can do it. Okay, so now if you see built and sending an emails in Pardot is an easier way. And you can do a look and feel and decide exactly to whom I need to send and how you want to use the emails in key and marketing automation process. Since B2B marketing process is automation process, you can use it that email template and design it, and you can use it wherever you want. So in Pardot, there are two types, which is called list emails and email templates. So what is the difference between list emails and email templates? I will explain you. Two types of emails, they work similar, but there are distinct in purposes. The purposes is different. It's an email template. Example, email template is like you can use this email template anywhere in your business use cases. Like example, in engagement studio or in a one-to-one email, all this will be used this email template. And this email template can be used multiple times. As an email template, what can use it automated emails such as autoresponder, one-to-one emails, or engagement studios. And email templates can also be used by it can be also used in list emails or one-to-one emails by applying a pre-built template before building out the content. So you need to build a content, you need to maintain a proper material for that email template, and then it can be published to the users where you can use the email template. Next is list emails. The list emails are created at for one time for only one send, and that can be used only once. If you want to resend that list email, again, you need to copy it, the content, and you can edit it and you can use it. Once the list email has been sent, it can be copied and edited. However, it can be reused like a template. But this is a straightforward where you can just multiple places you can use it, but it is only one place, and you can again re-edit it and recopy it and need to send it. And these are the parts where you need to land. So if I want to show here in the org, you can see marketing, emails, and new list email and new email template. This is the way we'd go for emails. Okay. Now I'll come to the next slide. Okay, so in email template, while creating a new email template, you need to give an email template name, you need to choose a folder, you need to choose a campaign type, and you need to choose a tracker domain check, which domain you need to send it, and otherwise from which domain, and email type, for which email type you are going to generate. Is it for HTML text or only text? So that supports both, okay, when you choose this. And available for multiple places. It's like one-to-one email or list email or autoresponder email or engagement program email. So engagement program email is one of the concept we have, engagement studio, that where you can access there. Autorespond is nothing but it's an automatic reply email. Okay, and the difference, I can show you difference between the list emails. Even the template is created in list emails and also email template. Now, if you see here, this is a list email. In this list email, again, you are giving a name of this list email and you are tagging on your folders and campaign type. And again, it supports both an email, HTML and text. And here you can see A/B test, and here there is no any other options for list email. Here we have a radio button, checkboxes where you can choose the email template at different places. Whereas in list emails, we have only A/B testing. That A/B testing, I will explain you what is A/B testing or what is the importance of A/B testing in coming slides. And the list emails example, I can say as a holiday email, a product status update, or monthly newsletter. So this is sending in a once only. Now it's like repeated times in the same day. It's a one-time emailer which you are sending. Okay. As I said, an email template, it supports for both finalize. You need to finalize a text in HTML email content made available for one of the more users like one-to-one email, autoresponder email, list email, engagement program email. Create email content by using. You can also create an existing HTML wherever you want that copy it into the HTML body of the email builder. And pre-formatted layouts also you can use it. And also a builder we have which is called as editor we call here. This I will show you how it is. Let's go to the org. Okay, I am here. I'm going to the emails. Let me open one of the existing template I am with me, and then I will come again create a new one. Okay. Okay, so now you open one of the email template and you're editing it. Okay, so this is a editor we have where you can build an email template, you can test it, and you can send it. For now, I have chosen one of the template, and also Salesforce provide by default some template layouts where you can use it and you can modify it and you can use it. So again, if you see here, we have HTML and also a text format where you can edit. Let's example, if I click on HTML, you can edit HTML, you can add some kind of merge fields here and refer, and you can use it. Otherwise, you have some other HTML available, you can copy it here and you can use it. You can preview it here, and also you can text it in the text format, the same thing. Okay, so this is an editor. Now, once let's example, my template is built. Now I need to test it. I'm landing onto the testing tab. 1 minute. Okay, now I'm in testing tab. So if you see here, to whom I can send it? Is it an internal test list or static list? As a static list, he told Hemant, it's in one time edited prospects. So you can't editor, you can't remove it and all this. That static list which I have created, that can be use it here and you can send it. That static list. Okay. And you can also send an individual email to any of the particular individual by a separated multiple email addresses with comma. That can be testing environment. And you can also test that email template. I will come and this thing again detail. There is a slide for on top of this rendering test. What is the importance of rendering test? I will explain you. Now, after a build or testing or sending, I'm coming to a sending part. Okay, here you can see sender. Who is a sender? From where you should say like who has sent this email, and it can be a general user, it can be a specific user, it can be assigned user, it can be an account owner. Assigned user is a person who assigned to the prospect, and you can use it here. Likewise, a sender would be any of this person, individual. And custom reply to, you can also tag email reply to that respective email with this things. So when they say that a user says an email, reply to the email, then it will tags to this respective individuals. And you can keep a subject line here. and that's done. You are done with the sending, and you can test it, and you can do all this. Now we'll come back to a creation of new email template here. Okay, so now I landed on this new creation of view template. So you can see, as I shown you a screenshot, it's same, like creating an email template and folder, campaign, tracker domain, and what is the type of email template you want to choose, and you can make it available where you want. Maybe it will choose by default template, campaign. I will choose a campaign type. Okay, now we'll make it, save it. So this is what I'm talking about, the layouts. By default, there are certain standard layouts, out of the box layouts available, where an user can use it and edit it and send and use it over there. So again, you landed here, right? Okay. Now I'll come to the list email. So I shown you these tabs, which is a testing tab. I shown you, and also I was explaining about the sending tab, where a sender hierarchy, it's a specific user, assigned user, account owner, a general user, and subject line. And I will show you the list emails now. Emails and new list email. It is taking me to the list email creation. Okay, so now you can see there is no other options available here where you can create a simple list email one, and this can be sent only once. Holiday. Okay, now I can choose a campaign, holiday campaign, or something like that. I can choose, let's say, for example, now here, and I can enable it for A/B testing. Now I'll explain. I will also explain about what is A/B testing. It is in the coming slides. Save it. So what it says, when you make it enable, again it will ask you to choose a template. So you can see the difference here in the editor. There is an A/B testing available. Not if you see in existing email template, we don't have this provision. The importance of A/B testing is you can create the same email template in two versions, and you can check it out for which version the responses was more. So for that, the Pardot environment has given us to go with versions for A or B, and you can design and make it available. So you can create a different subject line for A and subject line for B, and I will explain you detail in this again. So this is about sending a list email, and you can apply a template. You can set up an A/B testing and determine the recipient and suppression list. All this you can choose it. So things to consider, just high level, I can say, keep a proper format of email, and you can use it, and you can just check in test browser or render test. I'll explain you about render test. That also need to be checked. All this, make sure that update the text versions of the email, ensure the email renders correctly after changing have been done or made. All this. So what is A/B testing? What is A/B testing is what type of email variations you tested to see which version is more effective with opens or clicks. That's what A/B testing means. So A/B email testing allows you to compare email variations based on content, based upon sender, based upon subject line. Automatically segment your recipients list into a test audience and winning audience, and use the emails engagement data to automatically determine and distribute the winning email. I'll explain you what important it is. These are some screenshots for the A/B testing, and I'll come back to this A/B testing. One minute, it's taking me to sending tab. Yeah, this is a page for A/B testing. Also, when you are sending before, you can choose this provisions like for sender A. We will send the from address using for the first option below. If it's not available for given prospect, we'll send from the next option. Like example, in A/B testing, like specific user you want to choose, you can choose the types of user. You can differentiate based on this, and you can also change the responder reply to, and also you can give two different subject lines for different versions, and also you can keep this email version for how many days to be run, like how long you want to test or run before winning the winner selector. So what criteria do you want to use to determine the winner? Means like what is the on clicks you want to decide, on or opens you want to decide, on what type of things you can do it, and what percentage of audience you are targeting. Out of 100, the 25% of audience you're targeting to check out the winner result, and how we can configure here. A simple way in A/B testing is in differentiating two versions and testing those differently. Okay. Coming back to this slide. And this is about render testing. What is a render testing? Render testing is preview email formatting in top of email clients. Means what it says, you should preview the email before sending out, where you can we can evaluate based upon the desktop email clients and also web email clients. Preview email formatting in top of email clients and browsers. So different browsers also you can test it. See how email looks with the image turned off, or while the recipients are preview mode. There are different tabs available in the render test. I will open it. I will show you it. Let me open one of these templates. Email template. If I open this template again, one minute, somewhere different. Templates, 1 second. It's supposed to land on directly testing format. Okay, here if you see, there is a new render. You need to initiate a new render, and you can see here this way. For the design template, how it is going to look like in different clients. Like you can see different web email clients. The platform itself, it will show you how good that email template is looking. Are they verified properly, or what is the subject line preview, how it looks in Outlook, how it looks in Outlook 2013, how it looks in Gmail, how it looks in Outlook.com. And also it will find a spam analysis. All this will be done from this render test. Okay. Now, coming back to our slide. This is a standard recommendation from the while designing an email template, which is called as header graphic. Header graphic supposed to be proper, main content of the copy, and call to the action means like need to create most important content in the email, and social icon supposed to be bottom of this email body, and also a subscribe and subscribe link. All this stuff was supposed to be followed, as these are the basic 5 steps to be followed when creating an email template. And also there are certain differences for now, when to use a list email, when to use a email template. Autoresponder email, where what you can use an email template. A single send email you can send, which is called a list email. Likewise, there are different terms where A/B testing, which one a list email, and all likewise. Those are certain differences. Coming to the personalization. So personalization means it's very important to personalize the email template. It's not like a generic email to the users. You should, again, the importance of personalization is there will be a proper, as a marketing standards or a marketing thing, there are 71% fail to personalize their website or dynamic fields and all this. So again, personalized plays a key role when, let's example, in the email you give some proper name there, as a customer name, hi John, or hi Srinivas, like that. So that personalization plays an important role. So the personalization is a kind of a simple word, making your content dynamic, depends upon the person's criteria, depends upon the score of the prospect, depends on the prospect's grade, a prospect's field values. All depends on that. You can customize your template and use it in web pages or pod emails. So that content making dynamic is depends upon those parameters. And there are some kind of examples, version variations, variation A, version B. All this dynamic content can be built from the platform. So if you want to see, there is an option of creating a dynamic content as well. Here, if you see, content wise, marketing content, dynamic content. So we should create a dynamic front end in this fashion. Okay, this is a dynamic content. So for now, it's not required in details. We will explain this dynamic content, understanding of dynamic content in coming session on Engagement Studio, and that makes more sense and more helpful at that stage. For now, just understand that dynamic content is a content where you need to be personalize this information, where the users will be more engaged based upon the content you designed there. Okay, and you can insert into emails via variable tags, and all this you can be achieved from this. So Prashant, it's over to you. From my end, I covered today's agenda topics.
Okay, great, Karthik. Thank you. And thank you, Hemant, also. Okay, so I was actually going through the chat and I found there are few questions on the suppression list. There is a little bit clarification required on the suppression list. If you could explain, what suppression list exactly is.
Sure, Prashant. So basically, separation is same kind of list like we have created a static list and dynamic list, right? The same way you can create the separation list, but when we will go for the engagement studio program, so there will be a specific tab you want to separate those prospect, where we will see the how to work on the separation list. So we will see in the detail in that part, engagement studio. So in the same way list, you are just adding few prospect in a list to separate them. You can just for the time being, you can understand in that way. We will see in detail in the engagement studio. Right, Prashant?
Okay, great. I think. Okay, so I think there is a request to unmute Mayur. Abhishek, if you could unmute Mayur, I think he has got few questions. So
Hello. Yeah, so I'm clear with separation lists. I just had one question related to, like we said, we can send automated emails as well, right? So in that case, if I have suppressed one of my prospects, so will it still send that email, or we can do something, or are we going to cover that in next sessions? Yeah, so I had question on that. Hello.
yes, Mayur.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the question is, just a second. So the question is regarding suppression list. For example, if somebody is already in the suppression list and there is an autoresponder email which is going to be sent out, right? And do you want that whether that person will get that email or not? If I'm not wrong, if you could correct me on this question. Okay.
Yes, so I would like to add my point over here. So Mayur, yes, we can. So probably what happened when you create any type of journeys, uh, uh, or create any type of engagement programs, basically in the part of. So what you can do is that you can stop the prospects if the prospect is already received an email few days ago. There is a separate functionality where you can just add. So you will be seeing in the upcoming engagement program series when we'll be running this. And so just give you a real example for the suppression. Want to just take an example? You have the master database and you send out an email today. Okay, and the total number of lists is 40,000. And like after 2 days, you need to send out an again email campaigning, but you want to make sure that those prospects who already being a part of this, that is today's date, should not get an email on the second day. So it's the process the same. You need to only just add a suppression list. Suppression list is only the name. It's the same type of list, whether it's a static or like a static list for you, and then you can just suppress when you roll out the campaigns. Okay.
Okay, so I think we don't have any other questions right now. So we'll just move on to a quick quiz. I think we have got a few questions on the quiz. So I would request everyone to join this quiz. Okay. Karthik, could you please, share that particular link of the quiz so every